There's a couple more coming in. Justin, what's up, man? Good to see you. All right, guys, let's get the rest of those videos on. Today, I'm actually going to be sharing with you something that I have never, in the hundreds and hundreds of trainings I have done, I have never done this one. And this one was a long time coming. It's actually kind of one of my biggest secrets, if you will, uh, that I use to get more things done than most people. A lot of times people ask me, like, how do you do all the things, right? How do you run a team on only a couple hours a week? How do you stay, get to have a breakfast, lunch, dinner, and put your kids to bed every day, and yet still have a tech company? How do you do conferences? How do you write full-scale fantasy books? How do you do the real estate coaching? How do you do all these things? And I do it usually in about a 40, 50 hour week. So not working 80 hours, right? Not working 100 hours a week. And this is kind of a step one. And depending on how you guys receive it, we might be doing some follow-ups on this. But this is one of the biggest ones. And this was such a big class uh, that I was going to teach that actually a conference in August, they're flying me out there to teach this class. So you guys are actually getting it before all of the concert attendees as well. So I hope it brings you a lot of value today. We're going to wait about one more minute and then we are going to get started. But this was designed for a conference. So I always need video on, but especially today, I need video on because I need to see faces. I need to see you. Hey, Wendy, what's up? Good to see you. Glad you're here. Felicia, good to see you. Justin, oh my gosh, who is that? That is a they reminds me when I used to have to sometimes like do calls and then my wife like with the little one, she would sleep, but I'd still have calls to do and I'm like, well, I guess I have the baby with me now. You know what I mean? Like it was great actually. I loved it. All right, we are going to get started and yep, I get it, Justin. I'm with you, man. Dad life is a good life, though. It's a blessing. So I love it. All right. So let's get started. I'm going to pull up one more thing so I can see it because this will be interactive. All right, Irenium. Let's see. Oh, Tish, what's up? Good to see you. Daniel, Doyen, Tricia, Shaheda, Marcus, Juan, Kamari, everybody else, let's get those videos on. This is going to be interactive. And if you walk away, um, or if you participate and you really take in what I'm going to show you, this is something that, again, I've never taught before, and is truly one of the biggest secrets ever in getting what you want as fast as possible and to be loved for it. Not a bulldozer, but to be loved for it. So we're gonna just go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna be having some notes here and there. You're gonna see me looking down. I promise I'm not on my phone. Could you imagine a speaker was like on their phone? That'd be crazy. All right, welcome everybody. Let's get into it. So first of all, today we get to be rebels. Okay, we're going to break not one old rule, but actually two old rules. Okay, rule number one is that we're going to break. Never judge a book by its cover. Anybody hear that rule before? No, never heard that one, right? Come on, one of the classics. Okay. Rule number two is to always be polite. Okay. And so today, please don't tell on your parents to me. Okay. Hear me out first. Today, we're going to break these rules because breaking these two rules is actually the fastest proven way to get what you want and help others to get what they want. Okay, you guys with me already? You're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? I'm gonna be in so much trouble with my parents. No. Okay. So first of all, we're gonna just kind of warm up. Raise your hand, your right hand, if you're here to learn and grow. Pretty easy one. Okay. Raise your right hands. Come on. Come on. These are basics. These are easy ones for you. Okay. Now, keeping that up, raise your left hand if you're here to take action, to actually do something. Okay, great. Now, what I want you to do, keep both hands up, is clap 3 times. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Hold your applause for the end. Okay. Chill out. I got to earn it. All right, now that I've made the jokes and I have made you either laugh or roll your eyes, we're going to actually get serious, okay? Because we're going to answer a question today that a lot of gurus, big coaches, life coaches, you name it, have struggled to answer, and many don't know how to answer for themselves. It's part of why I'm being flown to this conference to teach this, okay? Here's the question. When every option is good, how do you know which one is right? You guys take that in for a second. When every option is good, how do you know which one is right? Okay. And if you use pen and paper, I would write this down because you're going to need to answer this question. So I would write this down, right? I would uh, put it in your phone because we are going to answer this question. I'm going to show you exactly how to answer this question. It's very powerful. And what does this apply to? Because obviously this is a real estate call. So obviously it applies to real estate. But what else does it apply to? This applies to your business, your clients, the products you buy, the employees you hire. It applies also, here's what gets crazy, to dating, family, friends, parenting, hobbies, self improvement. It applies to absolutely everything you do. So not only am I going to help you on the client side of things and in real estate, but this is something you're going to take and be able to apply to every aspect of your life. And I think we can all agree, wouldn't we want more of what we want in life? I think that's a pretty given, right? All right. So instead of doing long lectures, today we're going to be able to play a game. Okay. But first, I have a random question. I'm just a little curious. Is anyone here lactose intolerant? Just type it in the chat if you are. Give me like a Y or a yes. Okay. Tracy, okay. Want a glass of milk? The answer is no. No, right? But what about when the options, right, are not so obvious, right? Like we said earlier, when all the options are good, how do you know which one is right? And we're going to learn this through a game. We're going to have some fun, okay? All right, here we go. I'm so excited to play this game with you guys. So, round one, let's use a dating scenario because real estate, I teach it every week. So, let's use some non real estate ones today to show this how it impacts your life. Okay. So, round one, dating. Let's just say you're single and your dream is to be married with at least 2 kids sooner rather than later. So, you match with someone and they want to go on a date. How do you respond? This is heavily interactive today, guys. One, you say you go on the date and get to know them. They could be the one. Or you ask them before the date, do you want marriage and at least 2 kids sooner rather than later? All right, type in the chat 1 or 2. Which one would you say? And be honest. Don't try to say what you think what you think is right. Be what you would actually say or do. I love it. I love it. Few ones. Ooh, even a 2. There we go. All right, so the answer is easy, right? You ask them before the date, do you want marriage and at least 2 kids sooner rather than later? Now, that goes against all the rules. We know this, right? That goes against all of the rules. Okay. And many would say that that's rude or that's awkward, right? But my question to you is why is that rude? Why is that a rude thing? Drop it in the chat if you've got an example of why that's a rude thing, why that is something you shouldn't do. Because if you think about it, if they don't want marriage and two kids and you do, then going on the date, knowing you're already not compatible on something that's that major, isn't that the actual rude thing to do? Shasta said, the rules don't make sense though. Exactly. Exactly. Because the truth is that if we go and do these things, we follow the rules we've been taught, what happens is we're being misleading. We're intentionally misleading people. Okay? All right. So the dating one was fun. It was easy. I think we've all probably been in those shoes. Some of us may be in them now, right? So let's go to round two. Coffee meetings. You meet someone awesome at a conference, on this Zoom call, in a networking meetup, whatever it is, and they say, we should grab coffee next week. How do you respond? Obviously, option one is ask them what the coffee is actually for. Why do they want to meet with you? Or two, just go. You're both professionals. What's the harm? There might be good opportunities you could miss out on if you don't go. How do you vote? Drop it in the chat. Let's see. Ann says, two, I love coffee. Keep voting, keep voting. This is great. I love it. Shada says 1.5. I'm going for coffee either way, right? I love it. I love it. Okay. This is good. This is good. All right, here we go. Option one. Ask them what the coffee is actually for. Why do they want to meet with you? Now, obviously, I'm going to explain to you, right? Because in the business world, maybe the dating one was pretty easy, or maybe most of you don't struggle with that one. In the business world, coffee meetings are the death of so much wealth and opportunity. Okay. But I'm going to explain myself. I promise you. Okay. When we say there's no harm in it, I'm going to tell you the exact opposite. There's a lot of harm. Coffee's like what? How much is coffee? How much is your coffee that you go out and buy? Not as you make it home. How much would it cost you to go buy the coffee that you buy from Starbucks or your local place? Drop that number in the chat. I'm actually really curious. When I was asking this for some others, they were like $10, things like that. And says $6. I'm curious what the others say. How much is your coffee, guys, that you buy, at Starbucks or a local joint or something like that? Drop it in the chat. I want to see. And so while you're dropping those, Mary, I don't actually drink coffee either. Okay. So let's just say it costs $6, like Ann says, right? And then maybe it's 30 minutes each way. So an hour in the middle, because most people do not meet for 30 minutes for coffee. Um, it's just not realistic. Even if the meeting's 30 minutes, you're going to stand in line, you're going to sit down, you're going to do some small talk, then you're going to talk, then you're going to have the awkward, weird, okay, we're leaving now, right? Okay. So now imagine I walked up to you. Let's just say you, Ann, because you've been chatting already and I love it. Imagine I walked up to you and told you to pay me 50 bucks, drive all the way on the other side of town and talk to a stranger for an hour. You'd think I'm insane, right? Like, what the heck's wrong with you? And yet, we call that a coffee meeting. We just do that. And we do it often. We're real estate agents. Some of you, maybe sometimes we still get loan officers that pop in and title. But for most of us, we do this for clients too. We'll just go meet a client just to get to know them, right? So now let's kind of talk about the elephant in the room, right? And this answer, I'm going to make it easy for you. This is a yes for all of us. Even if you don't feel like you network, you have to network to have any business at all. Okay. So I want you to raise your hand. Okay. If you network or go to networking events, that means, like I said, I'm making this easy on you. The answer is yes, obviously. Because if you're at church and you talk to people, that's networking. right? It's just a more formal term, right? Networking, but truth is that every time we're networking right now, okay? We are. We're talking to each other, we're building relationships. So we all network, okay? Now, if you were to go, I'm going to use, where do you guys network? Drop it in the chat. I don't want to assume, right? Do you like to network? And remember, network, doesn't always mean business, okay? Doesn't always mean business. But let's keep it in the context of business for today's sake, because it is a business related call. So, where do you network for connecting with others, right? And you can say church, right? You can say the coffee shop. You can say Zoom meetings in the office. Maybe you run events. Where do you network? Where do you connect with your people? Felicia says Facebook, Patricia, Women's Council of Realtors, my community functions, and mostly online. I love it. I know. I feel like real estate agents more and more the online is being adapted. Okay. Now I'm gonna do something crazy for you, okay? Can we all agree it would be generally considered horrible etiquette if I walked up to a random person, let's just say Justin, at a networking event or a conference or any of these places where you network, and I said, "Hi, I need help with financial planning for my kids, my wife, me, trying to get it to a few hundred a month. Would really love to get it next week. What's your availability?" Can we all agree that that would be considered horrible etiquette? I mean, just drop a yes in the chat if you agree that that would be considered horrible etiquette for a stranger, right? I broke all the rules. You're supposed to go up and ask them about their family, their day. And for all we know, Justin is not even someone who can help me with that. He's a landscaper, he's a realtor, he's not that guy. So, can we all agree that that would be considered horrible etiquette? Horrible. Okay. Now, let me ask you this, though. Okay. You ready for this? I'm going to ask a different question. Type in the chat if you can help me with this problem. I need to sell my house and I need to buy a new house. I want you to type yes in the chat if you can help me with that problem. Okay, so then I'm going to pick someone else that has a video on. Felicia, if I saw you and we did not know each other, let's just say we were seeing each other at church. That seems like a place we might connect. And I walked up to you and I said, "Hey, excuse me, can you help me buy or sell my home?" Would you be happy, sad, angry? How would you respond to that? As a real estate agent, of course. And I know you're typing right now. Tell me more, please. That's right, Arena, right? How would all of you respond to this? Would you be upset that I didn't ask about your kids? Would you be upset that I didn't bring up the weather? Genuine question. Would you? Or would you be ecstatic? Would you be so excited, right? You would be so excited. Okay? So wait, hold on a second. I thought the rule was that we're not supposed to go and tell people exactly what we want. Because the rules say that we need to make small talk. And the rules say that we need to ask about things that we don't genuinely care about. In other words, we need to lie to people. You guys take that in for a second? Because isn't that really what the rules tell us to do? Why aren't any of you upset that I walked up? This is not a trick question, I promise you. Why aren't any of you upset as real estate agents that I walked up to you, a stranger? I'm a stranger, you're a stranger to me. Why aren't you upset that I walked up to a stranger and I said, "Can you help me buy and sell my home?" Why aren't you upset? And don't worry, you don't actually have to answer. I'm going to give you the answer, right? Because nobody is actually upset when they're connected with the person who wants what they have to offer, right? In fact, they're relieved. It's a relief to get what you want, is it not? When you need rest and you lay down, is it not a relief? When you need money and you get paid, is it not a relief? It's a relief. So then why? Because you might be thinking, okay, Robert, where are you going with this? This is pretty obvious, right? So then why do we act like this isn't true? Now you might say, well, no, Robert, of course, I love honesty and I'm totally all about this. But I bet you don't do what I just did. I bet you don't. So some part of you still has this belief that honesty is not the best option and that we have to play a different game. And I'm not going to blame you guys for that. I'm going to blame at least 200 or 300 years of societal garbage that we have been fed. That's why I said don't tell me to your parents because you got to be ready to explain this to them when they go. Okay. But here's the truth, right? That a lot of us we know, but we don't want to talk about. In every relationship, we want something from the other side and they want something from us. But we are told it's wrong to be upfront about it. Anybody ever ask why it's wrong when your parents told you that? Did you ever ask them why it's wrong? I did, by the way. I was that kid, okay? But respect to my parents, like they grew over time to understand and actually taught me over time like they grew with me, right? My questions, they ended up going, we're Christians, so they went to the Bible and they're like, "Oh, actually it's not wrong to tell the truth. And in fact, we should be more like that." Right? So I want to give them credit. But I would think that most people, based off what I'm telling you, would think that I'm saying to be insulting, almost abrasive, right? But here's what I want to tell you, okay? I am not telling you to be rude, cold, or use people. Again, I'm a Christian. That is the exact opposite of what we are called to do. In fact, what it really is that I respect myself and others too much to intentionally waste their time. I won't do that to you. I care too much about you and about me to intentionally waste your time, to mislead you, to lie to you, to pretend that I care about things that I don't. And the truth is, I don't want you to do that to me either. Doesn't it feel horrible when you want to share something special with someone, but you know they don't care and they're just kind of pretending? And you're like, dude, just stop fake nodding your head. Just tell me you're busy or just tell me you're not interested. Don't do this because it's insulting, isn't it? It's insulting. You're like, this is important to me. And look at what you're doing. Don't do that to me. But guys, as real estate agents and also in our life in general, we do this all the time. Anybody ever heard a real estate agent say this? And it might be you. I treat my clients like family. Anybody say it? Come on, drop it in the chat if you have been guilty of saying that. I want type family in the chat if that's been you. Type it, type it. And there should be quite a few of you because some of you I even know, and you have absolutely said that. I've seen you post about it. I've heard you say it even, right? I was guilty of it too when I first started. Everybody else did it. So I don't know. I just felt like this was the way. But it was a lie. You know why? Because they're not my family. And I don't treat them like my family. I treat my family way better than I would ever treat any client ever. Unless maybe they were my family. Right? So why do we do this, guys? You see the holes that we're digging for ourselves? It's not great. And it's very hard to climb out of. It is. It's very hard to climb out of. And most of that comes from us, right? Okay. But here's what's really, really awesome about what kind of just showed you, right? While most everyone else would be stuck in conversations for hours with someone that could have their needs better met by someone else. And you could have your needs better met by someone else too. Remember, this applies to dating, this applies to business, this applies to the software that you buy, this applies to the employees you hire, this applies to everything, the contractors you work with, everything. Okay? While everybody's stuck in conversations, I learned, right? I would learn so fast who wants two kids to be married sooner rather than later. And I would learn that a coffee meeting was not a good meeting, and I just saved an hour and a half to 2 hours of my time and the cost of money to buy the coffee, and I'll just have coffee at home. I learned those while other people would still be in a conversation knowing it's not for them and it's not for the other side, right? Now, I want to give you some examples because sometimes this is hard for people to picture. But before I get into the examples, I want to teach you something really, really important, okay? Right? Remember how I said the fastest way to get what you want, right? That's what I'm going to teach you today. Right now, I've only told you one part, the kind of judge the book by its cover part, okay? But we need to get deeper because all of this stuff, if I didn't know that I wanted to be married with two kids sooner rather than later, then how would I know to ask that question? Do you see what I'm saying? If I didn't know what was a good use of my time, how would I know that the coffee meeting was a bad use of my time? I'm going to put something out there and I want you guys to be extremely honest with me. Okay. I'm going to put this out there and I want you to disagree or agree with me. Okay. I'm going to put it out there that a lot of you may know the amount of money you want to make. I would agree that a lot of you might even have an idea of the type of people you kind of want to work with, right? Some of you know you don't want to do commercial. Some of you know you'd rather work with more friendly people, right? You might have an idea, you might have a price range. But I'm going to throw something out there. Those are not goals. Those are spreadsheets and they're scorecards. I would argue that most of you do not know what your real goal is. Okay? And here's how I'm going to prove it. Okay? And then I'm going to teach you how to extract this. Okay? It's very, very important. And this is one of the biggest things for you to take away because this is what will actually help you to answer the question. Anybody remember the question? Did anybody write it down when I said it earlier? Anybody write it down? The very, very important question we need to be able to answer. Well, Wendy's got it. Okay. If every option is good, how do you know which one is right? This is how you answer that. You ready? So I'm going to teach you in about 10 seconds how to find out what your real goal is in life in general, for a coffee meeting, for software, for dating, for for anything that you do. This, even believe it or not, applies to how you discipline your children. This is how good it is. Okay? You ready? I need some drum rolls. Okay. No, wait, that won't work. I can't hear you guys. Hey, Anne's got it for me. She's like, yeah, I'll go Phil Collins on you. Do, 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 do. All right. You ready? This is the answer. So that what? Now let me explain it because you're like, huh? So that what? So let me explain it, okay? Whatever you think your goal is, I want you to ask yourself, so that what? I want to make more money. Most people, that's the goal. The question you should ask after that is, I want to make more money, so that what? So I can work less. So that what? So I can be home for dinner with my kids. Stop there. Okay? There it is. So money was never the goal. Working less was never the goal. Your kids were the goal. Yes, follow me on that. But here's the truth. I have been to countless big Zoom calls and guru trainings, conferences. I've spoken at them. I've listened to a lot of gurus. very few of them actually go and end up at this point. They still talk about money as the goal. They do. And do you know why that happens? Let me give you an example, okay? I know someone who makes exponentially more money than I do. And I do pretty well, but he makes exponentially more, okay? In the millions. And he's has this goal, make more money, basically. Make more money, scale, grow, all the things that a lot of us feel too, right? Sell more houses. Okay. And I go, okay, what for? Right? So that what? More freedom. I was like, well, it doesn't sound like you're getting to the more freedom point. When does that happen? And more freedom for what? To do what? Well, to spend time with my family. Okay, let me ask you this. Would you make less money to spend time with your family? And he said no. Because he already knew he was an honest guy. He already knew he proved that by the way he was living. He could make less money and live a simpler life, live a more frugal life, and have more quality time with his family. But some part of him, and it happens to us, says, I need more. Because we care more about the scoreboard than what victory, the goal, actually is. And a lot of us don't even know we do it, right? A lot of us don't even know. I coach an agent. His name's Jake. He's actually the one who's putting on this conference now. This is how much he's grown. Okay. And he's an amazing agent. And he kept scaling and growing his business. I think this year he's going to close probably about 75 deals. He's a monster. Okay. And he also wants to expand this business and this business and this business. And he pays me hundreds of dollars an hour to coach him. And eventually I helped him realize and get to the point of where he saw that he had a goal. He wants to be able to run his business from his RV where he can travel around, and he wants to be able to spend times with his loved ones. And so then he realized he needed to start changing the way that he was building his business. Make more money for what? If I make more money, but I get farther away from the goal, then what was the point? What was the point? Okay. So just to be clear, this is not me telling you to stop building relationships, to stop networking. No, the exact opposite. I'm telling you to say what you want and help others get what they want and to do it upfront. Okay. That's what I'm telling you to do. Because the truth is that all of us need to stop lying, stop misleading, and stop beating around the bush with yourself and with everyone else. I know most people will never tell you this. And you know why? Because their eyes are set on the scoreboard. But my goal is that you live a better life, a more quality life, a richer, truly richer life. And part of that means that I'm going to talk about things that others won't because they're more interested in the scoreboard. And I am not. That's not what I'm interested in. Instead, I want you to start being honest about where you are, what you need, what they need, and how you can and can't help each other. And here's like a big thing, okay? Honesty is why I'm married. Okay, this is a fun story. I love telling this story. So, in my sphere, all the guys were hitting on a beautiful woman. One day, she was honest with me and she straight up asked me, she said, why don't you hit on me like the others? Now, there was no pride or arrogance. She was genuinely confused because I was not acting normal. And if any of you have been around a group of young men and there's only one or two women in the sphere, you should know exactly what I'm talking about. It would be unusual. Yep, Felicia's got it. It would be unusual to have a guy who's there and he isn't playing the game. He isn't doing the thing that everybody else is, right? You'd be like, what's wrong with him? Right? It's weird. Okay. I was not acting in the cultural norm. And so here's what I told her. This is all true. I told her I found many things about her attractive, but because I had principles I knew made me incompatible with most people, I didn't want to waste the time or the energy to pretend otherwise. How many times do you think that society has someone say that? It doesn't happen. In fact, you would be considered an awful person to say things like that. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't say honest things about yourself, and you definitely can't say honest things about other people. That's wrong somehow. Okay? Here's what happened. That honesty drew her in because that honesty brought out and helped her realize, what is my goal? What is my goal? And now we've been married 8 years. We have 2 kids, both named after characters of our fantasy book that we helped build together. We watch the same shows. We listen to the same music. We play the same video games. We have the same deep Christian spiritual beliefs. And we have an incredibly powerful relationship built first on her honesty and matched by mine. So the directness didn't cost me the relationship of a lifetime. It's the only reason I have it. You guys feel that? Society wanted me to never end up in this marriage, playing by their rules. And so if they're wrong about something that big, don't you think they might be wrong about some other things in business? How we build relationships, how we scale, how we grow, how we lead gen, how we do all of the things that we do. Maybe, maybe we need to be the ones that set the goals. And maybe we need to be the ones who are direct about how to achieve them. Okay? I'm going to give you another one. This one's fun. This one's so wild. People go like, "What the crap? You did that?" Okay? All right. So while you let that kind of sit in, I know some of you, I could see it on your faces already. You're like, "Oh my gosh, how am I supposed to apply this?" Like, this guy's crazy. It's a little crazy. It is. It is so counter what the world teaches us. I got another one for you. Okay? So I'm going to prove it to you again. Years ago, I think I was 17, 18 at the time. So just shy of 20 years ago, I walked into the office of a man who ran a major event at the Staples Center in LA. We're talking like 120,000 people in a weekend for his event. I had no relationship with him. He had no idea who I was. And I walked in, guitar in my hands, smile on my face. I had no demo. There were no coffee meetings. And I walked in and I said, "I'm here to sing for you and your staff right now and prove you should book me next year for your convention." I'm telling you 100%. That's exactly what I did. And he went, "What the crap?" He actually said a swear word, but I don't swear. So he said that. And then he said, and actually, you know what is funny is his staff looked at him and went, "Nobody's done this before." And they asked for him to let me play. And he said, "Okay." And I played for them right there. And they booked me next year. Okay. Being direct didn't cost me the opportunity. It was the fastest way to it. There was a laundry list of other people who wanted to be booked at that convention. They just weren't willing to say it. They just weren't willing to go and try and get it. Now, remember, I wasn't rude. If he said no, I would have absolutely walked out. I said, "No problem. I respect you. I just wanted to take a shot." Right? Okay. Because the problem is we do this dance. Do we not? This terrible, awful dance that says try everything, talk to everyone, read every book. And I say, even as an author, the opposite. Judge the book by its cover. Absolutely judge it by its cover because you do not have the time to read every single one. Agreed? Can we agree with that? You do not have the time to read every single one. So you have to judge a book by its cover. There's no way you can operate in life without doing that. Now, you might miss out on something every once in a while, but you'll find so much more good. You won't even remember what you may or may not have missed out on. And here's what I believe. Okay. If it really is a good fit, it'll come back around. It'll come back around one way or another, right? Okay. And so the point is in these stories is that I was clear and upfront with everyone about what I wanted, and I helped them get what they wanted. And the best part is what happened. In the end, I still got what I was looking for. And even better, they loved me for it. They loved me for it. That convention guy, after he booked me, he introduced me to 7 other conventions because he was like, "You have got to see this kid. He's crazy." He just walked into my office. I gave him the best pitch about me ever. He walked into my office with a guitar, impressed my staff, and we booked him. That's one heck of a pitch, right? And I hope so. My wife loves me for being honest with her. She married me. We have a great relationship, so I'd say it worked out pretty good, right? So again, you're going to need to judge a book by its cover. You're going to need to be honestly kind and socially impolite because the fastest way to get what you want is to say what you want while helping others do the same. And that's all I got for you today. So, who would like to give me some honesty on how this resonated with you? And if you raise your hand and your video is on, I'd love to unmute you and hear your thoughts. Genuinely. Anything that stuck out to you, anything that, resonated with you and you said, wow, I think I need to go do something, right? You have to have video on, Justin. That's the rule. That's the rule. Otherwise, it feels weird talking. Hey, there he is. Okay, I'm going to ask you to unmute then. And there we go.
Sorry, but I'm assuming I was trying to hit the chat button and accidentally
That's okay. That's
hit that one
okay.
because they're next to each other. um, yeah, so I'm someone who chronically um, is like afraid to offend people by bringing up business uncalled for, and so that just kind of like hit me pretty hard that I'm kind of actively shooting myself in the foot by acting that way and not just being honest.
Dude, it's so powerful. Also, guys, did my slideshow not work for you? What the
No,
heck?
I only see the first slide.
I had a slideshow this whole time. I had great graphics and everything. Oh my, the one time
Oh,
I
sorry,
don't have
Robert.
the slideshow screen
I
up.
thought it was on purpose.
No, I had great slides for you. Oh, I don't even know why it didn't work. But Justin, okay, so super powerful, right? We self-sabotage, right? We self-sabotage when we do this because we just believe something, right? We just believe something, and most of us don't even know why we believe it. It's just like we do the thing. Well, why do we do the thing? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
100%.
Yeah, I love it. Wendy's got something for me. Man, I'm so sad. Okay, well, I'll send you guys a slideshow in the email so that you can actually see it. I don't I don't know why it didn't work. So, all right, Wendy, I'm gonna ask you to unmute. What's up, Wendy?
So I actually resonate with you so much. With me, I tend to be a very blunt person and well, I've always been called since I was a younger, too honest, too bold. That's like usually what the phrases that people will use for me. So I have a big personality and character, I think. But because I've always been, I guess, put in a box because of how honest or blunt, I am. I think over the years, I'm not going to say I like completely shy away from it. Not really, because you are who you are, but sort of learn how to just don't say or don't do or things like that. And what I've noticed, I work in corporate for like, I don't know, since I was 18 years old till I was like 30 when I started real estate. And don't try to guess my age now, please. Like, um, and yeah, that just, being in corporate, you have to sort of be a certain way, act a certain way, speak a certain way, whatever the
Yep.
case may be. But I did notice once I started doing like inner work and just trying to figure things out, once I joined real estate, why I wouldn't do certain things, or why I would act a certain way, or why I wouldn't call, why I wouldn't, like all these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you try to please society, um, you lose yourself. Every time
And
you don't
society
say what
doesn't
you
reward
need.
you
Yeah,
for it.
never, never.
Nope.
Every time you don't say what you need to say, you lose yourself. Every single time you do something that you don't want to please someone else, you lose yourself. And we have to be very careful with that, I think, overall in our lives, whatever it is, um, because it will impact you. You won't be able to be the person that you need to be and that you were intended to be.
Yeah.
That
I
makes
love
sense,
it. I love
right?
it. So powerful. Thank you for being here, Wendy. Thank you for
No,
sharing.
thank you for sharing. That was awesome, and I appreciate keep being honest
You guys
because
missed the
we
slides.
need
I'm
more
so
of
sad.
that.
I
We
worked so
need
hard on the
so
slides.
much.
Oh, I'll do another one in a few months on this again, and you'll get slides this time, okay? And yeah, let's go. I'm gonna ask
Okay.
him. There we go.
I I was the opposite growing up. I was called too sensitive and too shy and too, she's just gonna cry, just leave her alone. And I've changed that. I'm 70 years old and I am, excuse the language, but I've been called a bitch because now I just come out and say what I think because, well, for one thing, I don't have a lot of time to mess around anymore. And I just go right I shoot from the hip. And it's a whole lot better than being the little shy, wallflower kind of person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that. And guys, like, something that people tend to misunderstand is that honesty and rudeness are not, they don't have to be together. And that's why I always put in this, the fastest way to get what you want and be loved for it, right? I am extremely blunt and straightforward with everyone. And it is so jarring. But here's the thing, the vast majority of people end up loving me for it because of how I do it. I'm sincere. I'm not mean. I'm not abrasive. I don't need those things. Those are not things in my tool belt, if you will, that I need to use. It's not necessary. The truth is more than enough. So I can still be an upbeat. Wendy, you said you had a lot of energy, right? I can still be an upbeat, friendly person who is also extremely intentional with the words that they use and the things that they say. And I can always address the elephant in the room, which almost is always necessary when you're someone like me. When you are someone who is this honest, the elephant in the room, there's like 70 of them at a time, okay? And it happens all the time. My clients have asked me before, you don't even remember the name of my kids. I'm like, no, I don't. And you probably don't remember the name of my kids, do you? And that's okay. Because the reason why you called me, Felicia, is because you want me to crush it in real estate. You want me to make sure that you get the best out of this transaction. And that is where I devote my time and energy because you have people who are going to be way better friends than I'll ever be to you. You have family already, that's family. I'm not that guy. And I don't put that expectation on you to be that for me. This is the term I love to use. I go, I'm your 007 of real estate. You call me when you want the job done. Now, when I first started doing this, I was nervous because I was like, I'm going to lose and nobody's ever going to call me again. Here's the exact opposite what happened. They absolutely call me and they only call me when they have a very specific need that they think I'm the one that can handle. They are not calling to talk socially, and I don't want them to. And I don't know why, for so long, people tried to make that sound like a bad thing. No, I am not upset that my doctor doesn't call me and just be like, hey, it's Wednesday, what's up? No, doctor, you call me if something's relevant, and then you don't call me if it's not. It's pretty simple, right? And the beautiful part is that every relationship gets better. No relationship gets worse because of honesty. It is impossible. Now, you might be thinking, well, if you're too honest, then they're going to turn around and do this and do that, or they might separate, or they might not be good fits, or the clients might drop you, or whatever. And I go, yeah, the relationship got better. That's what I just heard. The best form of the relationship just happened, right? Now, this is how extreme I want you to know how extreme I am with this, okay? Because most people aren't prepared for this. The vast majority of parents in the world lie to their kids, and they lie a lot to their children, okay? All right? Since our children were born, it doesn't happen. They know that Santa Claus is fake, absolutely fake. And you know what's so cool? They still love Christmas. They still love Christmas. Do you know that even when we're joking around, we say pretend? They do need to know the difference. And so, right? Like we will turn around and I'll be like, "Oh, I'm going to eat this Play-Doh. I'm going to pretend to eat the Play-Doh." Now, you might think that's crazy, but the thing is that then the real gets realer and it gets deeper and it means more, right? I don't tell my kids that they're stronger than me. I don't tell them they're going to be stronger than me anytime soon. They're very young. I say it's going to be a long time before you're as strong as me. And you might not ever be. I don't know. Right? I tell them the truth. And what's so cool is that when they get something of value, it just means the world to them. And what's also super awesome is they carry this honesty, even though they're 4 and 6, they carry this into all their relationships already. Already. They are little world changers simply because they wield the truth. Ooh, that's powerful. I got to keep that one. Right? And it's amazing what unlocks. Right? Do you guys want to hear one more quick, crazy story about like how honesty has worked? And like for me, it's okay if you don't want to, it won't hurt my feelings. But if you want to hear it, I'd love to share another one because I have all these crazy stories. Okay. So a few years back, I was at a party at one of Mike Tyson's mansions in Las Vegas. Yes, that's one heck of an opener, right? And no, I was not the VIP. In fact, I was probably the least important person in the building. Okay. But I worked that room exactly as I told you. I literally went to people who are way more, quotation marks, important than me. And I went directly for, here's what I want. What do you want? I didn't beat around the bush. I didn't waste time trying to just build a relationship. I know that they don't really care about me, and that's okay. It didn't really bother me. Like, fine. Like, why would you care about me? Like, it's okay. Like, we have this inherent thing. Like, everybody should think I'm important. Why, though? Okay. So I went around and I was very direct with people, right? And I told them honestly and directly, this is what I'm looking for. I asked what they were looking for. And I was told, by the way, by the person who invited me, not to do that. And I'm like, come on, you know me. Like, you shouldn't have invited me if you didn't want me to do that because this is who I am. Okay. This is what I do. All right. So, still, I met a guy. We talked. I won't say names because I don't have I'm not allowed to use their names. I never asked them for this story. So, I won't say their names. But I met a guy, super awesome guy. And we talked about movies and music and books, which is what I was talking about at that time. Okay. And then, because of that, he was like, you got to meet my fiance. She is really into movies. I'm like, cool. Yeah. Like, I'm really into talking about movies right now. And that's what I wanted to talk about. So he introduced me to his fiance. And it turns out she was one of the casting directors for the most recent Hunger Games. Well, that's pretty cool, right? So I asked her straight, like I always do. What's one thing I could do to bless you? You know what she said? She joked about it first. She's like, well, always looking for connections to other big studios. Because remember, networking exists at all levels. No matter how rich you are, you still network. Elon Musk still networks, and he's the richest man that's alive. He is always networking, always building relationships, always doing that, okay? Just reminding you there. So Here's what's funny, right? So she joked around. She's like, well, you know, connection to other big studios. Well, it just so happened I knew the owner of a very successful film and TV studio. And I only knew them from the exact same scenario that I'm telling you now. Okay. So it's not because I'm important. So I connected them, the big film studio person and this casting director. Didn't ask for anything because I already told them what they want, what I want, and neither of them had it. Which at the time is I wanted a publisher for my fantasy book. That was what I was looking for, okay? And neither of them had that opportunity, which makes sense. Most people don't. Okay. Few months later, the studio owner came back to me and was like, wow, thank you for connecting this person to me. And by the way, I want you to meet this publisher I know. Okay. All right. Let's go. And by the way, that publisher is the publisher who's now publishing my book that comes out November 24th. If you like Shadow and Bone meets an Ember in the Ashes, fantasy dystopian, you should definitely talk to me. I got something for you. Okay. But none of that would have happened if I, one, didn't help them get what they want. Okay. But then two, they had to know what I want, how they could help me. Doesn't mean they will, but for those who will, a lot of them in your life, they don't even know how to help you. Your family often doesn't know how to actually help you. Your friends often don't know how to actually help you. And part of that comes from the fact that a lot of you don't even know what your real goals are. I just want to make more money. Well, that's a really hard thing for any person to just come in and be like, yeah, I guess I can help you. Like, what? Do you want me to just hand you cash every month? I don't know. And of course, they're not going to do that, right? We need to be very intentional and upfront. And one of the things I had on the slides that you didn't get to see was our job was never to assume the best or the worst in people. Our job is to extract the best out of them. And that's my goal in most relationships. I want to find the best in you. I want to show you the best in me. And from there, I'm going to find a way to send you to someone better, whatever connection, whatever, right? It could be mental health counseling. It could be real estate. It could be anything. And then I'm hoping you don't have to, but I'm hoping you'll do the same. Right. And I have countless stories. This is how I built my real estate, how in my first year in real estate, I sold 34 homes. No friends, no family, no backup plan. And then the second year, I started a team. And by the end of that year, I was number one at my brokerage for that team. And then the third year, I did it again. I moved to a new brokerage and started a team again and moved to number one. It's not because I'm smart, guys. I'd love to pretend it was. But it's not because I'm smart. I'm not a genius. I'm not rich, so I couldn't buy my way into it. In fact, the vast majority of my life, extremely poor, and in fact, even homeless at one point. It is simply because I knew what I wanted. I knew what I had to do. And I was willing to do what it took with morals and ethics. Remember, I'm a Christian, to get there and to help everyone I could along the way, meaning not detouring, along the way. All right. Anyway, we hit 10 o'clock. What do you guys think? I know some of you already shared. I just hope it really blessed you. I hope that now you're going to go and say, okay, what do I need to go change? What do I need to go do now? Because remember the so that what? So the next time, right? By the way, I do this to clients too. Okay. Let me give you a scenario because, again, real estate agents. Okay. I am probably the only real estate agent I know, except those who now follow my practice, that vets clients and makes them. Now, when I say vets clients, hold on. They might be pre approved and they might already have the, let's say, buyer agreement with me. I'm not talking about that. I vet them before I let them see homes that they ask to see. I make them look at the houses because I send them short little videos. I do a whole training on this. I send them short little videos showing the house to them and make them confirm that they saw it, especially when I point out things that either contradict or are in alignment with their goals. Does that make sense? Probably doesn't, but it's extremely intentional. and I show less houses than any other agent I've ever met. Most clients don't know their goals either, right? And so all of this helps you grow. Oh, Wendy, is your hand still up, Wendy, or is it just, okay? I don't know how to do it. I just wanted to make sure. I saw the hand up and I was like, make sure she didn't have another question. So I hope that now you guys are going to go look at all of your relationships and you're going to ask that question. Okay, a client wants to go see a house so that what? They can what? Just hang out? You have an intention and a purpose. Okay, to buy the house. Okay, so then did you set them up for that or did you just let them pick some houses and book some showings? Guilty. Used to do that. Right? That's like letting your kids choose what to buy in the grocery store. How do you think that's going to work out? They know they're hungry. Good. Right? They know they have some preferences. Good. But does that mean that they're going to know how to buy it in the right budget? Does that mean they know how to buy what's actually good for them? Does that know that they know how to buy all the ingredients to assemble an actual competent meal? No. So you don't just let your kids do that. And you can't just let your clients do that. Set them up for success. And this goes again to every aspect. So I hope the next time you have a date, I hope the next time a client reaches out, I hope the next time you go to buy a piece of software, oh, okay, I should check out the next AI thing. So that what? So that what? So that I can, well, I don't know. Well, you probably shouldn't buy it then. You're going to waste a lot of money. Okay. All right. I'm going to keep saying this over and over again. I got to go get groceries. I appreciate you guys. I'm so glad that we had this time together. I'm so sad you didn't get my really cool slideshow. I will put it in the chat, or I mean, in the newsletter on Friday. And I would love your honest feedback on the slideshow. It was so pretty, and I'm so sad that you don't get it. So please actually look at it and give me some honest feedback because I was meant to share it with you guys today, and I can't believe I dropped the ball like that. So I would love it if you guys check it out Friday. If you have questions, if you need help figuring out the honesty thing, it's one of my favorite things to talk about is how to speak honestly. So you are welcome to reach out to me. I'm opening that invitation for you. In our Agent Alliance newsletter, you can respond there. In our Facebook group, you can tag me in a post, right? Ask the questions. I love, love, love talking about this topic in particular. I live by it. Okay? All right. Be blessed. I will see you in the newsletter on Friday. Bye, everybody.